So, welcome. My name is Matt Edmondson, and you are listening to the eCommerce podcast. Now, I've been an e-commercer. It's my phrase for those of us who are in e-commerce. I've been an e-commercer since 2002, and these days I partner with e-commerce brands to help them grow, scale, and exit. And if you'd like to know more about how that works, simply head over to the website ecommercepodcast.net. Now, today I am joined from a fellow e-commercer from the other side of the pond. Adam, how are we doing? So you doing well?
I'm doing great, and I deeply appreciate you converting e-commerce into a verb. That's fantastic. We may borrow that on the other side of the pond. That's great.
Yeah, no, totally. Feel the freedom to steal it.
Okay.
It's when I wrote the word down, I thought e-commercer. This is a great. I'm an e-commercer. Yes, I'm just going to use this phrase. When I wrote it down, it looked great on paper. In fact, it's the name of our newsletter. But to say it's not actually that straightforward, it just feels slightly awkward. So that's
it's like a sorcerer in e-commerce. It's great. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Now, Adam, before we get into the show, just tell folks a little bit about who you are and why we're chatting today.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a dad and a husband and all that really important family stuff that you may see in my story and the way that I look at things. Priorities are important. Professionally speaking, I'm an entrepreneur. I've built and sold a couple of things. Although I am the founder of a software SaaS platform right now that we'll certainly talk to, that comes from my last experience in e-commerce.
Right.
As a fellow e-commercer, that company was called Bottlekeeper. And there's, I'm sure, a handful of highlights that we'll get into, things that we did really, really well, and a boatload of times that we tried to burn it to the ground, and all the fun, hard stuff that come with operating businesses. But we did some really fun things there. We were super lean. We got to 8 million in sales with no employees or investors, then into tens of millions we got acquired by private equity. We only had 4 team members. So we were really lean. We were profitable. We had no investors or anything. So it was really, really fun and really, really hard.
It's amazing how those two things come together, isn't it?
They do. You have to have them. You have to have them both in order for it to really work.
You do. Hard work without fun is just a nightmare, but fun without hard work is just frivolity, I suppose, in so many ways.
Yeah.
But I'm fascinated actually by the story of Bottlekeeper. We're similar stories in the sense we built up big brands. I had way more than 4 staff. Those companies got acquired and sold, and we've both done this a few times now. So I'm curious with Bottlekeeper, because you had this product, which, as best as I can tell, Adam, and forgive me if I'm butchering what you did actually create. You created the ability to keep a bottle of beer ice cold for a sustained period of time. Have I understood that correctly?
Yes.
So
we literally took a stainless steel water bottle, hacksawed it in half, stuffed it with neoprene, like wetsuit koozie material, so you could put your beer bottle inside of it and it would keep it cold for way longer than is necessary and protected where glass doesn't make sense. And,
fair play. And you got this business up. Well, let me ask you a question first and foremost. What was this a particular problem you were having? Did you just thought, my beer's not staying cold enough long enough, therefore I'm going to hack this Yeti over here and see what happens?
No, it was not my problem. My cousin, who was my co-founder in that business, it was his problem. He, whom I love deeply and am very close with, and was the best man at my wedding far before Bottlekeeper. He is a lunatic, and he will only, in the best possible way, he will only drink or has a significant preference, let's say, to drink a beer out of a Corona, out of a bottle, at a specific temperature. So the day he found himself on the beach in Southern California trying to drink a beer out of a red party cup, at 85 degrees, he had to have a better way of doing that. So he quite literally took a stainless steel water bottle, hacksawed it in half, stuffed it with insulation like koozie material, and it fit his Corona and solved his problem. So I was actually not in the country. I was across the pond in your neck of the woods when this all happened. I thought it was interesting, but I'm the first to say I was not sold that was going to be an actual company.
So what was the journey then? Because you go from this sort of, I need my beer cold, and I'm more in the camp of your cousin, to be fair. I think beer has to be cold to drink it, which sounds odd coming from a Brit, because for the longest time we never did that. But So going from that, this is not an idea that I think is viable. You obviously had some Damascus Road experience to go, let's start an e-commerce business here. What was that?
We did. And it was a very defined road. We went, so this would have been in the fall of 2012 is when Matt, my cousin's name is Matt. He did this. I sold out of a medical company in May of 2013. So the timing was right. Matt is the, I hesitate to use the word wacky because it makes him sound wacky, and he's not a wacky guy, but he's like the inventor that he generally comes up with something that's really cool and really interesting, and he prototypes it and he patents it. And, that's what he did with Bottlekeeper, and he went down that path, and my time had opened up. I went down and the road of trying to start a venture capital fund, which was awful and terrible. And I was bad at it because I don't like raising money, which doesn't go very well with venture capital fundraising.
Yep.
And we, I sort of over some time agreed that I would go and test this with Matt. And again, we were really close. So what I didn't want to do, so we're both scientifically minded. We both have science degrees, specifically in molecular and cellular biology, which has a lot of math and physics and chemistry. And all of those studies revolve around the scientific method, and where you sort of have to start at A, and you know that you need to get to Z, and it's your job to figure the things out in between.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to approach it. And this is also, to be fair, about the time of Eric Ries, The Lean Startup, Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, like all these sort of iconic books that put people, down really lean, much smarter business paths.
Yeah.
And I wanted to prove that we could that people were interested in this product, because I honestly did not think they would be at a real price point. So I put up a website, I shot a video, I literally duct taped a GoPro to the outside of our prototype Bottlekeeper, which is actually sitting over my shoulder if you're watching video here on the show.
Okay.
And shot a video on the beach near our house in Manhattan Beach, California, and put it online and spent $500 on Google AdWords sending people to the site to collect emails. And enough people submitted their email that was like, okay, maybe this is a thing, but they're not giving us money. So it's helpful, but not super relevant.
Yeah.
From there, the only way that I could figure out at the time, and I still think this is quite relevant, maybe there's a lot more noise in the system now, so it's more challenging, but the only way I could figure out how to get and test to see if we could get strangers to input payment, like to actually give us money for it, was with crowdfunding. So we launched a crowdfunding campaign that we all did we did internally. We didn't go and spend a bunch of money and get fancy and hire video teams and do all that nonsense. I shot a video in my kitchen with a cheap camera, and that was the extent. I mean, you could still find it now. It was on fundable.com. Right. So we did that to prove that we could get people that weren't our moms and dads and aunts and uncles to actually put payment information at a real price point. And it worked. I was like, okay. That became a thing. So we sold about 300% of what our goal was, which was not a lofty goal. It was, we figured if we could sell $5,000 at $17 a piece or whatever our price was, if we could sell $5,000 of that, that would be enough to prove that people were interested in the product at a real price point.
Yeah.
And
so at that
worked.
point, you've got your proof of concept, haven't you?
Exactly. So the important part there is we went and did all of that before we spent any money.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I remember reading the 4-Hour Workweek when it came out, and I remembered this idea, and again we took his idea, the Tim Ferriss idea. If you've not read the book, I do recommend reading it. But we took that idea where Tim basically said you create a landing page, selling the product, and you, in essence, monitor how many people go to the page, how many people click the button. And that's going to give you some idea of whether or not this product's going to fly, right? That was his whole thing. And so you didn't even need the product. You were just sending people to the page to see if actually anybody would buy. And I remember reading that and thinking, that is genius. Like, why have I not thought about this before? And we ran that for several different businesses that we never really took any further because of the data we were getting back from. Yeah. Actually, we just didn't think people were going to hit the buy button. And so it's interesting that I'm listening to you tell that same story, that actually that's what you did. And that was the start of, in effect, of Bottlekeeper. Yeah,
it was a great way to start the company and, again, prove it out. As the skeptic in the crowd, going, I honestly didn't believe, I thought it was a cool product, but I thought it was a $7 at Spencer's Gift product, which is not a company. That's a nice, maybe hobby, but that's not a business. It was a really good way to prove, to use data to prove myself wrong, or let the data prove myself wrong.
It's an interest. Do you see people doing that these days? I mean, back then it was kind of like, you know, after the 4-hour work week came out, you talked to a lot of people and they were doing similar things. I don't know if I've spoken to many people doing it recently. I know I've spoken to a chap called Tanner Holt. He's been on the show. He has a similar methodology using Facebook ads to build these funnels to test concepts to prove ideas. But do you see people doing that now, or do you think it's sort of something that we don't do anymore? It seems slightly distasteful, maybe.
Well, I mean, the crowdfunding sites are certainly still highly functional. I mean, you know, that's Kickstarter and Indiegogo and Surely Fundable and these things. You don't hear about them as much, and I think that's probably a media issue. Or media outcome. I do know, I mean, I have a friend and company we work with that's called Packed Bags, P-A-K-T Bags, and they launched their brand on crowdfunding. I mean, kind of the exact same way, like they hacked together the products and used some video editing to create a thing. And I mean, they did $2 million sold $2 million worth of product online. And that was 5 years ago. Wow. I mean, that wasn't, I mean, we did this in 2013. So yeah, that was over a decade ago, but that, you know, this was right before COVID. So I'm sure there are more success stories out there of people doing that. Again, with the caveat that to me, success is not raise $1 bazillion. I mean, Malcolm Impact, what they did, $2 million is outrageous. Like that's an insane amount of money to raise crowdfunding. We raised $13,000. Like it wasn't a big amount of money. We didn't need a lot of money to start the company. I mean, even in the whole course of the company, Matt and I each put in $10,000. That was the extent of our entire investment into the business. So that $13,000, it paid for the first manufacturing run plus a little bit of product, you know, maybe double the amount of product that we needed. And then, you know, we marked it at a price point that was real and continued to sell it. And, you know, we had some important inflection points and some lucky things that happened over the course of the first year that turned it from, you know, a funny side project to like a holy hell, this is happening kind of a business. But it was really, if you boil it down just to the simple test of, can we get strangers to put in their credit card and click buy? Just that. Like, just let that be the test. If you need to raise $1 zillion, like go and do that. And then maybe you raise $1 zillion and that's great. And maybe you take that data and the modicum of success that you get from that and use that to go raise a round or raise family and friends around or whatever. At least then you have, like you said, you at least have a proof of concept at that point.
You do. And that proof of and this is really important, I think, if you're starting out in eCom, which I know many people listening to the show are. Someone, and I like how you phrased it. I often say to people, someone other than your mum has to buy this product willingly, right? And if you can do that, then maybe there's something of interest in there. If I fast forward, Adam, a few years, then your Bottleneck's doing well, and you then appear on Shark Tank, right? And this interests me because we don't have Shark Tank in the UK. We have something called Dragon's Den, which I feel is the same thing.
Yep.
And the reason why this interests me is coming on the show soon. I spoke to her earlier this week, actually, is a beautiful young lady called Millie. She started a makeup business. She's got, she has this chromosome issue going on, which, so she wanted to do a makeup company for disabled people. And her story is just magical and inspiring. So make sure, folks, you stay connected because that's coming up. The thing that interests me was this Thursday, she was on Dragon's Den, right? So the equivalent of Shark Tank. She took her business on that. I'm still to catch up with the episode. I'm still to find out what actually happened. And I'm getting to do the interview with her in 2 weeks' time. So she's coming back on the show, which will be interesting. So this has piqued my interest that in the space of a week, I've spoken to 2 people that are going on Dragon's Den or have been on Shark Tank. How did you find that whole experience?
They found us in 2015 because we were, this is like the heyday of paid media. That, we were spending it as fast as we could spend it on Facebook, and it was returning 20x, and we literally couldn't reinvest it fast enough. Yeah. So we had
miss those days. Those.
I know the good old days. That's quite literally why I won't ever have a consumer product brand again. I can't go back. Time travel were a thing.
Yeah.
And so we had one video that I shot on the beach in front of my house where like hands come in and you see the Bottlekeeper in action. And that video got a 2 billion views or something because we put so much money behind it. And it just returned unbelievably well. And so a producer at Shark Tank saw that video, and they have a team of people whose jobs it is to go out and find interesting things. You can also get into the show, by going to a casting call or stuff. So they reached out. We went through the process. I was actually in Iceland when they gave us the film dates. And granted, in 2015, we did about $1.5 million in revenue, and they found out that I was not in the country. The whole point of this business, to be clear, was that I wanted to build a scalable business that had no employees. Yeah. That I could operate from anywhere in the world with internet. So my wife and I could travel, and we did. We spent 4 to 6 months of the year out of the country, much of the time, again, across the pond in your neck of the woods and in Asia and Africa and all these fun places. So they ended up not being okay with me not being in the country when I had to come back and film. So they pushed us. Obviously, I didn't know that, or I would have been in the country. They pushed us to the next year. Then they had too many beer companies on that year. So they pushed us to the next year. And so, but we didn't film until June of 2018. Right. And our trailing 12 months in June of 2018 was over $10 million. So like we were a dramatically different company by the time we filmed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of 7 or 8 times the size, wasn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So, as expected, the episode took about 55 minutes to film, and it is pure chaos. There were no breaks, there were no redos, and they cut that into 7 or 8 minutes. But of the 55 minutes, I think 52 of them were of them just messing with us about not needing to be there. Mark Cuban's actual quote was either, "You're the worst business people in the world, or you don't need to be here." Which is, we knew that was going to happen. Made for a great headline.
Yeah, that definitely. You put that on a poster on your office, right? Yeah. There's the motivation. Now, you didn't get the Shark Tank. Well, you got the Shark Tank deal on the TV. You got the agreement, but for whatever reason, it didn't come to pass post recording. But I'm assuming. Well, I don't know the answer because I've read the data, but it sort of gives you a tremendous amount of exposure, doesn't it? It does. The whole Shark Tank thing. And so the business then goes to another level again.
It's, yes, short answer. When you have the opportunity to get in front of millions of eyeballs for free, like it doesn't cost you anything to do it. You're not giving up, take that. In the US, there's this never ending rumor that if you go on the show, you have to give them 5% of your company, which is completely false. They did that the first year, and Mark Cuban said, if you keep doing it and you don't give it back, I'm gone. So they changed it, and they never did that again. So it doesn't cost you anything. From a customer acquisition standpoint, it is exceptional. Yeah. We were lucky that we aired, December 3rd or something right before Christmas. And we would do half our revenue in the month of December for the entire year. So we were very much a gift product company. Right. So we got really lucky with that. We had over $1 million of revenue in the first week that we could directly attribute to Shark Tank. And surely we had more that we could not directly attribute to Shark Tank. Yeah. But that episode re-airs today. That was... Seriously? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. It's on ABC it re-aired in the January after, and then they moved it to CNBC, and it re-airs probably every other month. Still. It is like the gift that keeps on giving.
That's the most extraordinary thing, isn't it? And so no regrets then doing that.
Oh, goodness, no. It was an exceptional experience. Yeah, from an investment standpoint, we were open to taking it. We didn't really want it, but we were absolutely open to taking it. The deal that we did on TV, we were open to do. We got what we asked for. We asked for $1 million for 5%, and we got Mark and Lori, despite Mark's, "You're either the worst business people in the world or you don't need to be here" commentary. And then the reason if you've ever been around any investment ever, whether someone investing in your company or you investing in another, or literally read an investing article ever, due diligence is a real thing, and it takes a really long time. And that goes both ways. Lori wanted to put us on QVC, which wasn't part of our brand. We were a more luxury high-end brand. So that didn't make sense. So she was awesome to work with. She just called me directly and we talked, and that was great, but it didn't make sense. And Mark, we did try to do a different deal with, where he was going to move more into a consultant. We really didn't want to take money from him. You take money from people, you have this, fiduciary, at least again, in the US, you have this big fiduciary responsibility.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to have that to Mark Cuban unless we really needed to have it. And we didn't. We were fortunate at the time to not. So we tried to do a consulting deal. It didn't work out for legal reasons. We were going to have to change our accounting structure, and it was going to cost like $500,000 in taxes.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't because, there wasn't any like malicious intent or disagreements. It just things happen. Most of the deals you see on TV don't actually get done.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
It's good television.
It's a TV show. Let's be really clear. It's first a TV show, and then some of them do, obviously.
Yeah. No, absolutely. There's a couple of things, Adam, that you've said along the way, because I'm really intrigued to dig into this if I can. So a lot of people, like say, start an e-com businesses or they're small e-com businesses, and you have sort of achieved what we Brits would like to call the American dream in many ways. It's kind of like you've set up a business, it's scaled, you're on TV, it's scaled even more, you exit the business, you made a few quid and everyone's happy, right? And you've sort of gone from beginning to end, and now you're running your SaaS service. I'm intrigued by this notion, going back to the 4-hour work week, which was very much part of Tim Ferriss's thinking, which seems to have been part of your thinking. I wanted to build a business that I could run from anywhere in the world, and I didn't want really to have staff. And yet you're turning over $10, $15 million a year with very little staff. There's a lot of people, I can hear them now screaming. They're all shouting at their car radios or wherever they're listening to this, going, how in the world did you do that?
It's much easier to do when you build from the very beginning the guardrail that you'll never have a team member.
Right.
You have to solve problem. If you're going to make that decision, you have to solve problems in a way that doesn't require human bodies to solve them. So on the one hand, I had to learn how to play and run every single position in the business. Because I had to do every single position in the business. Like Matt's responsibility was our manufacturing and our inventory and some of our financial stuff, shipping and fulfillment, the things that would happen that a customer didn't see. My responsibility was everything else: the website, the images, the videos, the brand, the voice, the email, all of the content and copy, all of the paid social media, all of the organic social media. Like I literally, every single thing that a customer would touch, I had to physically do.
Yeah.
So when you learn how to do those things, when you have to learn how to do those things, you know how to fix them when they're broken. And you also I got to see and find interesting ways to automate a lot of that. And, and that would have been really difficult in 2005. But in 2015, we're now at a place where most tech platforms will talk to each other. And if they won't, we had Zapier or one of these platforms that you could get them to talk to each other. You could move the stuff into a Google Sheet and zap it from here to there and, create scalable systems, cloud-based systems. And we did that really, really, really well. But we only got to do that at scale, I think, because the company was built like that. And we said no. This is another really important piece. Because of that guardrail, I was really, really strict. And I mean, Matt and I were really strict that we did not do anything that would require us to hire people, even if they were opportunities to make money. I mean, we had companies coming to us, retail companies and stores and wholesale, almost from the very beginning, asking to buy the product. And I knew that if we were going to do that, we were going to need to have somebody whose whole job was just to do that. And so we said no to it. Like people trying to give us money for product, we told them no because it violated this core tenet in the business. And in hindsight, that worked really, really well. One, because it forced us to focus just on the consumer in a D2C business. And then by the time we did decide to go to wholesale and retail. We had such incredible demand because we had the consumers, not because we were asking them to, they were going into the stores and asking for this product because they didn't want to wait the 2 days it was going to take to ship them.
Yeah.
And we had a wait list. I mean, we had the companies that were coming to us. We weren't just telling them to pound sand. We were like, yeah, well, at some point we will be open to this. Give us your email and we'll let you know. So by the time we did that, we had thousands of companies on a wait list. So we launched into wholesale in 2018. We went into 5,000 stores in the first year. And we got to control, it was crazy. And we got to control how, we weren't jerks about it, but you couldn't sell it online. The whole point of wholesale was I didn't want to compete with the companies selling our own stuff online. So because we we kind of held the cards. We got to control how it was distributed and where it went in the store and how they talked about it and what their pricing was. So it worked. And that was completely unintended. We didn't do that on purpose. That was just a nice benefit from waiting until we had enough demand to go in and do it.
Do you think, looking back, then, that this idea of having this non-negotiable, which says, we're gonna build this business where we don't employ people, at least for a little while, until and you are doing all the wholesale accounts. But do you think, looking back, that was a right decision to make? Would you still make the same decision?
No, I wouldn't, because the time is different. It's significantly more difficult today to build a online only eCom to scale, namely because paid media is kind of off the table. Building a business on paid media today as your foundational revenue model is phenomenally treacherous. Mm-hmm. If it's even possible, frankly. And I don't have the expertise to go and build massive audience and engagement organically. People do, and they do that and you see it. And I think it is absolutely, it's like sorcery to me. It's unbelievable how people can do that.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was having a conversation with Travis Lowry at Vinyl VC the other day, who's a friend, and he invests in commerce. He won't call it e-commerce because he actually doesn't believe that a successful business can be exclusively in e-commerce today. And I agree with that. I think it's too difficult to, when you're small and little and nimble and you're trying to prove the concepts out, absolutely, get as far as you can with that as possible.
Yeah.
But I think you have to diversify that revenue stream a lot earlier than we had to in 16, 17, 18.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very different landscape, isn't it now? I suppose in many ways.
It is.
I look back and our first ecom business was in 2002.
That's epic.
And you kind of go, well, it's only 23 years. But so much has changed in the last 23 months. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of, it's such a fast, dynamic, moving space. I'm intrigued by your statement. If you were starting, you wouldn't get into a consumer goods e-commerce business now. I mean, I know you've got into the SaaS business, you've got into, and we'll talk about that in just a second. I'm curious as to, is that what you just talked about? Is that the reason why you wouldn't get into this?
I would say what I wouldn't do, I wouldn't go and try to start something from nothing.
Right.
In the consumer product world. And honestly, part of it's just emotional. I've done it already. I want to go and find new challenges and new things. I know the pain that's going to come with that, and I don't particularly want to relive it. Mm-hmm. I'll relive it starting SaaS companies, and I'll relive it doing all these other things, but those are learning experiences. Those are new problems that I could solve in a different way. I do think because of seeing an e-commerce business go through the full American dream cycle. And I do agree with you. We lived the American dream, no question. But because I've gotten to see it through that all the way from startup through, early scale, through mid scale, through acquisition, and all of the goods and bads that come with every single one of those pieces, I can be really helpful to those companies. And I could see a circumstance, of getting involved with any e-com businesses that were struggling, because it's really easy for me to look under the hood and see what's wrong.
Yeah.
And frankly, that's what this SaaS product, that's Pentane.
Yeah. That's
what it does. And we can talk about that if you want. But that part is interesting to me because I can be really helpful really quickly.
Yeah.
And most of the challenges are inside of that, although they are emotional in nature because we're humans, and that's the beauty of being human. They're generally math problems.
Yeah.
They're data issues and math problems and algorithms that need to be tweaked and thought of differently. And that's easy for me to go in and help with.
My eldest son has this year he graduated. Not this year, last year he graduated from university with his master's in theoretical physics, Adam.
Epic. I want to talk to him.
Smart chap.
I love this.
But he's like everything is a maths problem, Dad. It's just a maths problem. I just need to solve the math. Okay.
I spend an unreasonable amount of my spare time in the world of quantum mechanics, and that's where he functions. It's awesome.
Oh, the stuff he comes up with is just on another planet. For me,
that's cool. Good for you, and good for him. That's awesome.
Well, definitely, yeah. But is your comment about but mess? One of the things that I also wanted to ask you about, and I can't remember whereabouts in the conversation, whether this was pre-record or post-record. The value of your business, right? So a lot of people are thinking about exiting their eCom businesses, or they're wanting to think about the possibility of that in a few years' time. And so the default has always been go build sales and, hopefully sell at a time when you've got a good multiple. One of the comments that you made was about building value from your IP. So you did a lot of patents or patents. I suppose which I'm not quite sure the right way to pronounce it now. Tell me a little bit about that, because this obviously is unconventional, I suppose, in some ways to the standard rhetoric that maybe e-commerce entrepreneurs are told.
When we got started in Bottlekeeper, I never believed, and my cousin didn't really believe either, we were on the same page, that going and raising a bunch of money and then chasing that to the next valuation round and then chasing it to the next valuation round sounded like a fun thing to do. And my company before that was bootstrapped. I mean, I'd never raised money. It just wasn't part of who I was and wanted to be. And that would have gone very much against I want to build a scalable thing on the internet that I can travel the world and do. That doesn't generally fit with playing the VC run and gun game. So at the same time, we also knew that it wasn't a business that we wanted to hand our kids. This wasn't the thing that was going to be the generational thing. Like to be clear, from the age of 6 until halfway through college, I wanted to be a doctor. My whole life revolved around being a doctor. That's why I got a crazy science degree. Mm-hmm. And now I'm selling beer products. This is like the, epic give nothing back dichotomy. So this was a thing that we did not see as the do for everything. That being said, we believed that if you could build a business that had two things. One, it was profitable, meaning it could survive ups and downs. And if you're not going to raise money, it has to be profitable. So that's not really an option. But the other is if you can build value in as many places as possible throughout the business, someone will always want to buy it. So where we saw building value were in 3 places. One, which you just talked about, is sales. There's value in revenue. No question. Even if it's not profitable revenue, as much as I hate saying that. But it's true. Mm-hmm. The second is in the brand. So we were really, really, really diligent. That's why our products were expensive. Like we looked at Yeti and it was unfathomable to me how they took a product that everybody, like it was not a super unique product. Granted, they had some IP and whatnot, but like it was a fancy cooler. There were 10 companies that had the same quality of cooler, but they would get $300 for their cooler and people were going gaga over it. I never understood how they do that. And I absolutely loved it. So I just said, I want to go and do whatever that is. I want to do that. I would rather sell less product for more money than more product for less money. That goes in line with my efficiency brain. Yeah. So brand, there's value in brand. The other is in intellectual property, in patents. And with Matt's, when he filed it's called a provisional patent. Like you file this placeholder patent that's inexpensive at the very beginning of the company. So you can go basically like hold your spot in the line, because in patent law, they're first to file instead of first to use. So you can come up with the idea all you want, but if someone files it first, it's theirs. Right. So you file a provisional patent, which holds your place in line. And then you have 12 months to prove that concept out. And if you prove the concept out and it actually turns out to be a thing, then you convert that into a utility patent or a patent, that lasts a much longer time, way more expensive, but at least at that point you've de-risked spending that money. So we did that. It obviously worked. So we converted it. That's actually what we used a lot of that $13,000 that we got from crowdfunding was to convert a provisional patent to a utility patent. Yeah. And then in that process, I'll caveat everything that I'm about to say with, I'm not an attorney. I have a lot of deep domain expertise in intellectual property, but I am not an attorney. So talk to your IP specific attorney. Don't talk to your contracts law, neighbor attorney, your intellectual property attorney. It's very nuanced. It's very specific. You have to talk to an IP attorney. But when you get your first patent, you do what's called a continuation in process, and it's CIP, and you leave the patent open. So you don't allow the patent to close. And what that allows you to do is evolve that patent into another patent and broaden its scope. And then you leave that one open, and then you evolve that patent into another patent and you broaden its scope. And by the end of it, you have 42 patents in this incredible scope that's insanely valuable, that when you go to sell the company, the private equity group, who cares a lot about revenue and profitability, they didn't ask us in the first probably 4 conversations, hours long conversations with the board of directors and like all these people. Not one time did they ask us what our revenue was.
Wow.
Or if we were profitable. They cared what was on our balance sheet because they wanted to know if we had raised money. All they wanted to talk about was our brand and intellectual property. So those are not the only ways to create value. Like in your business, listener, whatever that is, think about the different things that who you could possibly sell the company to in a year or in 10, and what would be valuable to that company. Is it just sales? Probably not. It might also be sales. In most cases it is, but there will be things that are valuable to that type of company, and go build for that. Like spend your time, spend some time, not all of your time, but some of your time trying to build value around those things.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That's really good. So when you set out with the business, were you very intentional with the patents, or was that something you kind of stumbled into as you went along?
Stumble.
It's funny how often that, right? Yeah.
I mean, Matt had invented a couple of things that he had filed provisional patents on that didn't go, for one reason or another. So he knew a little bit of the process to, that it was a smart thing to file a provisional patent at the very beginning, because they're inexpensive. I mean, it's thousands of dollars, not tens of thousands of dollars. You have to do your specific IP attorney will do a patentability search to make sure you're not violating anyone else's patent with what you're doing. And in some cases, if you are, you can modify your product to not be. And there's some strategy stuff there, but make sure what you're doing is patentable. And if they're really good, they might say that it's not, but if we tweak it this way, it becomes patentable. I mean, there's an incredible amount of strategy around.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
And then you have to be prepared to defend them, which is a whole nother thing. That was actually like the worst part of the business.
I was going to ask you about that because I read a comment somewhere that you seem to get dragged into having to defend your patents a fair bit. How was that? You tell us a story while I drink from my Yeti, by the way.
Yeah, awesome. They were just an exceptional brand. I mean, they're like the pinnacle of brand value.
Yeah,
what
really
Yeti has done.
Yeah,
we in 2015 started seeing fake versions of our product on Amazon. It's like, that's going to happen, but it is just like gut wrenching when you see this thing that you've like at that point, had all your blood and sweat and tears and all that good stuff inside of, and now you see your product with another name on it being produced by whatever company out of China and now on Amazon.
Yeah.
And at that time, we did not have our utility patent had not issued yet. It takes a while. I mean, sometimes it takes a year. For us, it took almost 3 years for you first like defensible patent to issue. The problem is when you start having that success, those things pop up and you have to deal with them. And in the case using Amazon as a perfect example, the platform doesn't want to be the one making the determination that company is violating your patent, because that's what case law is for. Yeah. That's what the courts are for. So Amazon, if you have a patent, you can't just go to Amazon and say, look, I have a patent on this product, take that thing down. They'll say, we don't know if your patent is valid or if it's actually violating or not. Like, get a court order and we'll take it down. And, naturally your mental explodes like, court order? How the hell am I going to get a court order? Like go to the courthouse and say, can I have a court order? Yeah. Well, I will tell you exactly how to do that. You have to, this is where it gets painful. So if you're facing this as an operator, like dig deep and buckle your seatbelt and, pick up meditation and the things that you have to calm yourself down. Exercise a lot, take care of yourself. You have to go and sue a bunch of companies. So go and pick 10. This is this is our playbook, and it worked perfectly. It was brutal, but it worked perfectly. find 10 companies that are selling your product on Amazon that are small companies. They're teeny, like literally it's people selling them out of their basements. Mm-hmm. You have to sue those companies. You're not going to try to get money from them because they don't have money, and that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is you want them to stop selling it, and you need them to sign a document with the court within the court case that says they agree they violated your patent. And then some number of those, you probably only need one. Hopefully you get a couple. You need the court, the judge in that case, to agree that that company was violating your patent. And you want that judge to sign a consent judgment. That consent judgment has a number associated to it, which is a court order. You can use that court order number in Amazon, and Amazon will now very, very effectively pull those things down. Wow. But that took, let's be clear, that took a year. It cost $500,000, and it was unbelievably brutal. Like dealing with lawsuits, 10 of them at a time, like that is hands down the worst part of the Bottlekeeper business. Now, it was clearly important, and it is what led to that transaction outcome where we had them, on 4 phone calls and never asked about our revenue because the patent portfolio was so impressive. Yeah. But it was very, very difficult. And then from there, you just play whack-a-mole forever. You have to, you set up processes, and there are some technologies you can use to help automate that. But you're just going to be defending that stuff for the life of the business. It's just part of the deal.
It is. No, it's so easy now, isn't it? And I think it's even easier than it was 10 years ago for people to just copy. It's easy to see the sales data, to see the analytics and go, I'm going to make that. And it's like, well, okay, come sue me. It's going to take you at least a year. And in which case I'll stop selling it. I won't care because I'll have moved on to something else. And you kind of, okay. Kind of takes the shine off it a little bit when you're dealing with those kind of things. So tell us about the SaaS platform you've got going on. So now you've done the whole e-commerce thing, and so you woke up one day and thought, I'm going to sell software. That's what I'm going to do because that makes an awful lot of sense.
I can tell you that is not how it happened. I mean, I had a wise sage in my life. I literally had a performance coach because I was trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself after this thing. And he said, don't go and start another company immediately. I know you're going to want to, of course, I went and tried and it was a disaster because you got to learn some stuff the hard way. And he's like, his name's Dr. Jeff. He said, I told you so. It's like, okay, fine, Dr. Jeff, I'll do nothing. And I got into carpentry. I started building things in my house. I remodeled the kitchen, doing all these things to try to break out of that business execution cycle. And after about 6 months, I woke up one day and realized that my hardest decision the entire day was what to have for breakfast. And that was a problem. Yeah. And Dr. Jeff said, all right, we're ready. Let's go. We need to do what he would call practice soft offense. Let's go find something to do. And I had invested in a number of companies over the life of Bottlekeeper. So we decided that I was going to go and talk to those companies and see if there's literally just how can I help? And they're all friends, people that I knew and whatnot. So absolutely. Come look under the hood. Let's figure it out. And I realized very, very quickly, there was something that we did at Bottlekeeper. There was a lot that we did wrong. And we, again, like I said earlier, we tried to burn it to the ground 20 times, but there were some things that we did really well that led to being able to build really scalable revenue efficiently. And that had to do with systems that we created using math. So goes all back to math and science, right? As the CEO of the business, trying to run paid media, running the website, all of its optimization, trying to be profitable, all that stuff, I realized that there were no systems, there was no software, there wasn't anything that gave me the clarity that I needed to make smarter decisions around how we spent ad dollars, how I optimized the website, what we could afford to do or not afford to do. And so we built them. We wrote math and crazy spreadsheets, and we ran the company on it for the entirety of the business. We tried to go, find it in other platforms. It was always a disaster. We tried to build it on NetSuite and Salesforce Datorama. Totally didn't work. And we always went back to these spreadsheets. So I saw in these first 2 companies that I went in and helped that they were good businesses. One of them was a $20 million a year business. They were profitable. They had no idea how to make money. They just knew that they spent $18 million a year, and they made $19 million a year, and 19 minus 18 equals $1 million in net profit, which is 100% true. Mm-hmm. But they didn't understand like the nuance of how they spent money versus how they acquired customers and how it was all made. Like there's a lot of that's like where all the good stuff is.
Yeah.
So I rebuilt systems that we ran a Bottlekeeper inside these businesses, and it totally changed them. It just gave them clarity around how to, better operate the business. And it, one of that company, it increased their net profit the following year by 50% because it was like, that's interesting. So we decided, Dr. Jeff said, okay, let's go see if you can get paid to do that. Cause I just did that for free. Obviously I had an incentive. Like I was just trying to help.
Yeah.
So I went and found a consumer product company that needed, they were in bad shape. They were losing $100,000 a month. It was a $2 million a year business, which means they were losing a lot. It's a huge loss. They only had a couple of months life left. And I got paid as an advisor to help them turn it around. And I did the same thing. Like I built these much sexier, leaner, smarter versions of the stuff we used at Bottlekeeper. And this company 3 months later was profitable. And now they're, 2 years later, they're up 300%. They're crushing. They're profitable. And so that was clearly there's something here that is helpful to other businesses, and it can't just be a bunch of super intimidating spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So Pentane is born from that. It is foundationally built on, it is a SaaS platform, but it is foundationally built on systems that we operated Bottlekeeper on. So they're built from the standpoint of the operator. It's not a finance product that, an accounting team put together, looking at it from the standpoint of finance. It does have financial components to it because you have to, but it also has a lot of customer acquisition. You can't, whether you are or not, you can't make really smart decisions about how you acquire customers if you don't understand the financial component in the business, like how the business makes money, how the business spends money, how your payroll and adding to it or subtracting to it impacts your ability to be profitable, and what you should be spending on ad dollars and how it needs to perform. And all of that is math. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. Brilliant. Where can people find out more information about that, Adam?
Pentane.com, Pentane.com.
Does Pentane mean anything other than it just seems, at first I thought it was Pentane, but it's not. I've got to spell it the right way.
This goes back to my ultimate nerddom. Pentane is a 5-carbon molecule. It's a member of the alkane family. It's like octane, propane, methane, ethane, hexane.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I know. Literally, I went and tried to do octane. I was like, okay, there's 1,000 companies called octane. I can't do that. Yeah. And this family called the alkanes. I went through the list of alkanes and found one that I could buy the domain for $2,000. And there's like no business sound around it. So that's how we got to Pentane.
It is funny now how when it comes to naming your business, you're like, right, the first thing I need to do is what's the domain that it's the driver, isn't it, behind all your businesses. I set up a business recently, and I'm just like, I'm not going through that process because all it is, it's a legal entity in the background, right? It's it's an SPV that helps with our acquisitions. I just took the name of our company, spelt it backwards, and lo and behold, it was all available. So I'm like, let's just do that.
Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Look, some of the most successful companies, like their names don't remotely make sense. That's not the point. It's basically like, is it memorable and can you buy the domain? That's about it.
Or can I buy the domain and then is it memorable? Maybe. I don't know. So is that how people reach you? Is it through that website or LinkedIn? What's your preference?
Yeah. If for me, LinkedIn, I don't do the socials outside of that. I haven't for a long time, but I am spending time on LinkedIn because it's the place I need to be.
Yeah, it's a big.
I'm really focused on being helpful. So even if it's outside of Pentane, if I can be helpful, literally in any way with respect to consumer brand, DM me on LinkedIn. Otherwise, you can find information and demos and sign up for free trials and all that stuff at Pentane.com.
Fantastic. We will, of course, link to all of those in the show notes as well. Adam, in the last few seconds that we have, talking of LinkedIn, and I've remembered, I told you it'd be 50-50 at the start. This is where I ask for a question for me, which I answer on LinkedIn, funnily enough. So what is your question for me?
Given your exposure to companies moving through the life cycle up into acquisition, how do you look at a company building just a D2C or needing to be more omnichannel?
Okay. we will get into that. Come follow me on LinkedIn if you want to know how I'm going to answer that question. But Adam, listen, it's been an absolute treat, man. I've genuinely enjoyed the conversation. If I had more time, I'd talk to you about your experience with joinery and carpentry, because I too it's funny how digital guys like to go and make stuff out of wood as the sort of pastime. When I sold my business a few years ago, the first thing I did was build a wood shop.
Perfect. Yeah.
So,
I love it.
It's just the way it works, isn't it? But thank you for coming on. So, I'm going to get through this. It's no problem. Thank you. Oh, no, tell us about your podcast as well, because you're episode 4 into your brand new podcast. Maybe tell us about that so we can go check that out.
Yeah, the podcast is called Growth Mavericks. It's all about disrupting our defaults. It's really 2 parts. It's part tactical. So I'm talking with, e-commerce founders and what is working, more what is not working, where they spending their time trying to problem solve, with the other half of the discussion being around what they do to remain resilient and durable and sort of anti-fragile in the world of these massive ups and downs, and also interviewing some people that just do that, like special operations guys that have gone and had to do really hard things under real duress, where there are real consequences, not like lose some money, but lose lives and things like that. So it's been really, really fun. I'm only a handful in, but it's been really, really a productive handful of episodes helping operators.
Fantastic. Growth Mavericks. Check that out. Of course, we'll link to that in the show notes as well. But Adam, listen, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming on and sharing the story. It's been a lot of fun listening to it, and all the best, my friend, with the SaaS platform and what's going on in the future. And next time you're on this side of the pond, let's go grab a pint.
I would love that.
That'd be fun. Sounds like fun.
That would be fun.
But yeah, no, absolutely. Adam, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.